Hiya.
Hello.
Hello!
Hello.
Hey!
Welcome back to another video from Beat This Together.
Today we're going to talk about coping with university with an eating disorder.
University is an exciting time for many. It's a time full of new friends, new experiences, and new skills to try. For many, it's the first time that they're living away from home and being independent, and often people can describe it as one of the best times of their life.
But for some it can be the most challenging, unpredictable and testing few years of your entire life. Learning more about yourself and the reality of mental health, as well as learning some really complicated algebra.
Struggling with an eating disorder can be difficult enough with your established support network around you back home, but it can become even harder when you move off to university.
Getting used to a new place, dealing with newfound independence, making new friends, and on top of all of that, dealing with the stresses of uni work piling up can feel like a lot. And it can cause relapses, or even the first presentation of an eating disorder.
Eating disorders are prevalent amongst university students. Beat predicts that 32% of those with an eating disorder developed it when they moved away to university. And whilst women aged 12 to 20 are those most likely to have an eating disorder, please remember that mental health does not discriminate, and both men and women are potentially susceptible.
Despite being surrounded by people at university, eating disorders can make you feel very isolated, sad and lonely. Anxiety may mean you avoid social areas and struggle with food, and eating only perpetuates this.
We are here to answer some questions that you may have about your new endeavour and to help you along the way.
So the first situation we want to discuss is those who already have an eating disorder and who are going to university for the first time.
Moving away from home, relocating to a new place, and having to set up a new support network can all feel quite stressful. You may also be under the pressure of coursework, deadlines, and the difficulty of forming new friendships. You may feel really stressed about how you're going to stick to your meal plan and adapt to university life.
If you do start to relapse, it can all too often become a vicious circle of disordered eating and social isolation. Social events at uni commonly have an emphasis on food, which can be really, really isolating. Flat meals, potlucks, and lunch meetings may just feel too difficult to join in on. You may feel at first that you can't find people who understand and remain judgment-free.
One of the best tips that we can offer is to be open. Be open with yourself and with those around you. Confide in someone you trust, and remember to check in regularly with a family member or maybe a close friend from home.
Another tip is to write a meal plan. Not only will this help to keep you some structure and routine, but it can help with budgeting and planning your shopping to minimise additional stress. Having this element of routine will also help when things might all feel a little bit too new and it might get a bit overwhelming.
Remember your motivations and why recovery is so important to you. Maybe you can even write this down on a little post-it note and keep that close to you.
If you're worried, it's important that you seek help from your university student support services, or make an appointment with your local or university health centre's GP and make them aware of your situation.
Another situation that may occur is for an eating disorder to first develop at university.
Eating disorders are complex, and there are many factors which may contribute towards someone developing one. Some may suffer with low confidence or self-esteem, whilst for others, pressures and stresses of university may make them feel more vulnerable. Or it could be a combination of some or all of these factors. Eating disorders often build up slowly and can be triggered by one or many factors in a person's life. Moving to a new place, taking on new responsibilities, or being thrust into new social situations can all contribute.
Adding to this is the fact that you have full control over your cooking and meal times, which you may not have had back home. This makes it really easy to fall into a spiral of disordered eating, where people seek to find control and self-punishment through their food.
Question: am I going to have to drop out of university because of my eating disorder?
In a survey run by Beat, they found that 39% of people with eating disorders took a break from their studies and 18% did drop out. We aren't going to sugarcoat it. This is a possibility. But remember that taking a break or needing to step away is not a sign of weakness. Quite the opposite. It's a sign of strength and courage. There are lots of opportunities available to you if you do decide that university is not for you. You could live at home and do a course with the Open University. You could do an apprenticeship or another training course. Having to look after your mental health is not a failure. It really is the opposite.
BEAT recommend that you take time out if your physical or mental health is severely compromised. They state that if a woman's BMI is under 16 or a man's is under 17, they should be taking a break from studying. However, please remember that BMI is only one very crude measure of an eating disorder, and your mental well-being is of utmost importance.
Question. I think I have a problem, but I don't know who to turn to for help.
Remember that you are not alone. Admitting that you may have a problem is such a massive leap forwards and a really positive step to take. Support is there for you, and you do not need to suffer in silence. Talking about it is so vitally important. Say it out loud, even if it's just to yourself at first. The next step is reaching out to somebody else. You can choose someone you trust, but speaking about it means that you no longer have to fight this thing on your own.
Register with your GP if you haven't already. This should be your first port of call. This way they can refer you to any secondary services, and they can help to monitor things like taking blood tests.
There are also usually free counselling services offered at your university. Just ask your tutor or look online for more information. During term time, you can also talk to Nightline, something that many people find very helpful and supportive. There are also other organisations that you can get in touch with, such as BEAT, who run a support group just for students, as well as Student Minds and Samaritans, the latter of which is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, should you need someone to talk to.
For those of you at Bristol University, we've compiled a list of all services, local and university services, that you can access that will be able to give you some support with your eating disorder. If you want a copy of this, feel free to drop us an email at bttbristoluni@gmail.com.
Question. I'd love to join in with my flat meals, but I feel like my food rules and anxiety are holding me back.
Start gradually. If you're still in a place where you're struggling, then throwing yourself in at the deep end with a big flat meal that you have little or no control over might put you off the idea for months to come. But it's important to still join in with social events.
Perhaps try opening up to one of your flatmates about how you're feeling, because they may be able to help make adjustments to the cooking that make you feel more comfortable. Or you could join in with meals, but with food that you've cooked separately from your own meal plan. This could be a gradual transition into trying the things that they have cooked alongside your own meal plan, getting used to the idea of having others cook for you, and also trying a wider range of foods.
Ultimately, see flat meals as a goal and a motivator and not a fear. They are yet another reason for recovery.
Question 6. What if I'm tempted to over-exercise when there's no one there to tell me to stop?
So if you're good at sport and become part of a team, this has loads of really great benefits for you. However, there is a risk of over-exercising creeping up into your life with that. How about making your team coach or captain aware of the issues that you've faced or currently are facing? This can help them to keep an eye on you and act as someone who can remind you when to take a break.
You might actually find you have more free time at uni. How about you focus on an activity or hobby that isn't focused on a weight loss goal? This could maybe be like a new language or a charitable or volunteering thing, an academic society, or maybe something musical or arty or anything you like. University is just the perfect opportunity to get involved and explore your hidden talents.
If you are at Bristol University, you should check out the Healthy Minds programme. They can pair you up with someone who will be made fully aware of any mental health struggles you may have faced in the past or may currently be facing. This means they can help you reap the benefits of exercise in a way that is both physically and mentally safe. We know that this can be a hard balance to achieve sometimes on your own.
How can I cope if I feel my eating disorder tendencies creeping back in?
Know your triggers. If you know that certain environments or situations can trigger a reaction, then avoid those if possible. If you need to skip a party to rest and look after yourself, then do it. Likewise, if you know you struggle on quieter days, then make plans with friends or pick up a new hobby to keep yourself busy.
So where possible, do try and take a break. Take some time to focus on your own mental well-being. You could even schedule this into your weekly or daily plans. Now this will be different for everyone. For some, it may be a chat on the phone with someone who makes you feel safe, such as a parent, a sibling, or a friend from home. Or you could even take a trip back home if you're able to. Going home can not only restore you with some stability and familiarity, but it also means that you're surrounded by people who can support you in the best way for you.
Remember that recovery is not linear, and there's not a direct road to recovery either. There will be bumps on the road and turns on the road, but that's completely normal. Just remember to be open with yourself and your loved ones about it too, because they love you and do want to help you.
Please ask us any more questions that you might have in the comments below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And follow us on Instagram at Bristol Beats Eating Disorders.
And we will see you back here for our next video.
Bye!
Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye!
Bye!
Thank you for listening. Bye!
Bye.
Hola!
Come with the risk of over-exercising. Over-exercising?
My dad's turn.
Ciao! Remember your motivations.